Welcome back to Stories, the Path of Destinies.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was... The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renardo knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Lapino was no game changer, but could Renardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Okay, let's try and save Lapino.
Ah, Lapino. Apparently, the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time. But he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse. Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen the winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens? People were frightened these days. Just 2 weeks past, Renardo had sneaked through an empty town and listened to the Ravens call about the Emperor's new taste in ritual sacrifice. Renardo had been the terror of the sandcastles when he was 2.
This is another like indestructible.
Renardo had tried everything. Zenobia had loved him to death. The Sky Ripper had destroyed everything. The Iblis stone had corrupted everyone who held it. He'd never put much faith in Lapino. But Lapino was all he had left.
Could go check. Oh, cool.
I hear you're the dead, silent type.
Very cool. Energy on kill. Great. So, that's pretty much it over there.
Ooh, a workbench. Did he have any jewels he hadn't tried out? He had.
And now we have a void blade. I wonder how it will, what effects will it have? Shield breaker, we do need that. Attack speed is good and double damage. I guess we could sacrifice attack speed for energy on kill.
Firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough.
Oh, I guess we're hot enough for this firewall. Only at 10 health. So where do we need to go? I think, yeah, over here. And we don't have enough skill points yet. But I bet we can easily manage to get it.
Good! I need a new rug for my nest, said the lead raven.
Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack.
Okay, now...
Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to?
Recover from being hit almost instantly and attacks knocked down. We could actually use counter-attack or hook or dash maybe. What was this? Attack enemies. Okay, now. Attack enemies at any distance auto activates when reach certain combat threshold.
He was
Let's
more
take this.
and more extraordinary.
I'm not gonna read this, so if you guys want, you can pause the video and read it. Because previous episode was almost an hour long. So I'm gonna try and make it a bit shorter by not reading those things, only because I can't read them fast enough. And is this Lupino?
Dirty and bloody, Renardo finally reached Lupino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renardo recognized the cards. It was Lupino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, see, this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia.
We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows,
And that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who happened to also be a deadly sorcerer, and, oh, his only daughter? Ah, that would be worth it. And it would be nice to see her. He'd always had a soft spot for her. And he felt sure she had one for him. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Alright, so let's not take the, was it Sky Ripper? The core of Sky Ripper. Let's just
Zenobia
take.
wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course.
Let's go.
She'd been Renardo's best friend in Sword Fu school. And you're
capture
still
Zenobia.
mad for her. The rabbit reminded him. The rabbit had a point. And Renardo had a feeling she'd want to see him again. Who knows what could happen between the two of them this time around? She knows all his plans, chuckled the master spy. She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right. The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Renardo shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty. This chest contained a Vorpal sword. I'm just kidding. Vorpal swords don't exist.
It's kind of funny that when green door opens, so all of the other swords.
That had gone rather well, actually.
What's here? Oh, this is really good for a thumbnail. Kinda looks good. I probably already add that thing for the thumbnail.
Say hi to gravity for me.
In this game there isn't usually many windows where to speak or where I or anyone else can speak. But other
You
than
couldn't
that,
hack this kind of firewall. You had to warm it up to you.
oh yeah, there isn't many windows where to speak in this game, but most of the time I don't even know what to say. Shit.
This one looked familiar. Had he lost this one in a card game? Welcome back, he thought.
I almost walked into the portal. energy on kill. This is more useful than other ones.
What exactly was Lupino up to this time? You could see the wheels spinning inside his head. They made Renardo dizzy, in fact.
Another sewer or another thing where they jump down. Great.
When Renardo went to the china shop, for some reason the owner was always nervous. Hey, why don't you guys fight in groups? Oh, I know. Because there's no I in team.
Right, so here's Lupino.
What's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lupino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lupino dressing as an old blind toad, and Renardo hiding inside a monstrous watermelon. What could possibly go wrong? Thought Renardo.
I think that Lupino is trying to like destroy the boat, our boat.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sure you know better, said Lupino. He hadn't noticed that part before.
There you go. And now let's rush to Zenobia.
Oh, what does the fox say? Asked Wenry. Another one called back. Go, go, dying! They both laughed hysterically.
Renardo slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally, he reached her bedroom. She was curled up on her bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She became smoke. And he noticed he had a blade to his throat. Stay a while, purred a familiar voice. Did you really think you could capture me? Zenobia said as her ship lifted off. Now I just wanted some privacy, Renardo said. Renardo knew she still had feelings for him. Maybe he could just cut to the chase. But was timing right for that?
Strategy.
I know how you feel about me, baby. I know you want to be with me. Renardo said. What? After that, it's just screaming. He had tried something bold and paid the price for it.
Bro. Like this.
Renardo slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally, he reached her bedroom. She was curled up on her bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She became smoke. And he noticed he had a blade to his throat. Stay a while, purred a familiar voice. Did you really think you could capture me? Zenobia said as her ship lifted off. Now I just wanted some privacy, Renardo said. Renardo knew she still had feelings for him. Maybe he could just cut to the chase. But was timing right for that?
It wasn't.
Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? And he told her why. His Imperial Majesty wanted to bring the lost gods back. They could make him immortal. But to seal the bargain, he needed a sacrifice. Someone who truly loved him. You're lying. She was furious. You can't prove that. I can. And so, they set sail for the Nexus. The scientists at the observatory have resurrected one of his victims. Well, he's not exactly alive, but it can talk, and it can't lie. You took a big risk. You know, I could just cast a spell to make you tell me where the rebel base is, and you wouldn't consider that cheating? She frowned. Ugh, fine. Let's go get your witness. Renardo. The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up. Renardo had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred for one book. He had slept in a burnt village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them.
Okay, previous stress wasn't the greatest one. Just assumed that I had saved that previous story or the path, and I thought
was always a rush.
so. I'm gonna quickly read the note that my classmate sent. Once I'm done with these.
It's a bicycle! Come on, open.
The right jewel could really give you an
Oh,
edge.
yeah.
The wrong, well, it still looked pretty, didn't it?
I fucking hate my microphone. I hate it because it hits with electricity and I have no clue why. Just gonna do this. Come on. And I know that. Now we can. Yes. Well, listen, obvious already waiting for the sun at the end and then shit. Fucking hell. Okay, sorry about that. Green sword is good in a way that it regenerates your health.
Ooh, sparkly, thought Renardo. She caught up with him. Don't you think I'd know if my father started practicing black magic? Why? Would you want to join in? Oh, no, I'd destroy his books and... all right, I suppose I wouldn't. She stopped, troubled. He ran on. The scientists on this island had been investigating the Emperor's dark rituals on their own. They were neutral in the civil war engulfing the Empire, but they could see that the dark magics the old Toad had loosed were changing the world. Renardo hoped he and Zenobia weren't putting them in danger. No skateboarding, the sign said.
Even worse.
Great. Alright, so we can now upgrade our skills. Just really hope that we'd be able to upgrade them like within next island. Great. The rebels are dead.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The Ravens had taken care to burn the reanimated witness to cinders. Zenobia stared around, shocked.
Yeah.
The scientists had been neutral. They had no part in the rebellion. "Take me to your council," she said, shaken. "I have things to tell them." It was what Renardo had gambled on. The Zenobia would turn against her father once she knew his madness. But the rebel base was secret. Could he really risk taking the Emperor's daughter there, even if she did love him?
Alright, let's try and risk it.
Renardo reached Lapino by Farspeaker Toad.
No, we should take her to the base.
Insisted Lapino. "No, I don't trust her. Nobody changes sides that fast," said Renardo.
I better go to the base. Let them know you've got her.
Lapino said. "Just meet me at the far side of the mountains. There's a shuttle here I can take."
Always has to be your way, doesn't it?
Said Lapino. Zenobia was still shaking as they got out. "I didn't know," she said. "The Ravens kept it secret. At first they sacrificed prisoners, then villages near the frontier, and then an orphanage. Kittens and puppies. Sometimes he'd come back to the palace and it was like there were glowing things behind his eyes. But I was so busy." "I'll clear a path for us," Renardo told Zenobia, "so the Ravens don't see you."
Those are the demons. Demons behind his eyes.
Renardo wondered idly if people who had built these poles had really, really long tentacles.
This was much easier than free climbing. Good.
Zenobia came up as he massaged his sore arm. Her eyes were wet. He's been saying strange things. He asked me to do experiments. And some were wrong.
They are banished, right? Said Renardo. Gone forever. I mean, he couldn't actually bring the old gods back, could he?
She didn't answer him.
That frightened him more than anything.
Oh boy. Fuck, I could have won. Shit.
To everything,
Fuck all.
there is a season. He turned over and died.
That is how we do it, said Renardo to himself.
Hell yeah, free energy. Seems like there isn't much to say about this game. It's really not even about the game, but about anything in general. This me playing this game is I'm watching the game, and I can probably say that I'm not even playing it, but I am, but it feels as if you're just, like, I'm just watching a choice-based TV show, or not TV show, but a cartoon.
There was a pleasant breeze coming through that door. Had it been closed before?
There's no way to remember. Shouldn't. Huh.
What was the point of this gate? Did they think no one would notice the lever?
Nope, can't clear that. Holy shit, this is like this is actually the first time me finding this place.
Not everyone knew how to use magical gems. Of course, not everyone had magical gem gauntlets like he did. Renardo wondered if he should have taken Zenobia to the rebel base for real. Maybe she wasn't playing him after all. After the bleak talk about the Emperor's dark secret, he was regretting his suspicion.
I bet that Rapino would have done something bad. For example, killed Zenobia or do something like that. Alright, let's try this one.
They came up on an empty shack. He gestured her in. "Where's the base?" she asked, confused. "I thought we could talk a bit first."
Oh, you think I'm playing you? She was furious. I'm betraying my father who picked me out of an alley, and you think I'm playing you?
She lashed out. Her claws sliced fire into his face. Energy boiled in her other paw. But before she could kill him, he slashed his sword into her heart. She staggered. "I could have loved you, you son of a bitch." And then she died. Renardo stood there for hours, unable to move. Finally, a ship landed near him. Lapino had brought the Farfarer. On board the Farfarer, Lapino couldn't stop grinning.
I can't believe you actually killed her.
Why didn't I trust her? Renardo said. All he could feel was emptiness.
You killed the Emperor's daughter.
You might want to run for it, if you care whether you live or die, that is. Since Renardo didn't, he grabbed the wheel, and he sailed for the Imperial fleet. Renardo had never felt worse. Zenobia had listened to him. He had trusted him. She had opened her eyes to her father's evil. Done everything he had hoped for. He had taken her to a dirty shack. Was he so used to lying that he couldn't trust even the girl he had always loved?
Well, this is a shitty ending. Well, okay, not ending itself, but you get it, right?
I wonder what happens if I go that way.
Oh, hell yeah.
He was sort of yanking his own chain, wasn't he? He could see the rebels reeling back as he plunged into the ranks of the Ravens. He'd had to kill the girl he loved. But he'd also blown the biggest opportunity they could have had, to turn the Emperor's daughter against him. Oh, Renardo could only laugh miserably. He was taking crazy chances now, swinging wildly. He expected the Ravens to take him at any moment, but they were running in fear. No one wants to fight a man who doesn't care if he lives. No one wants to fight a hero. Should have died a pirate, he thought.
These platforms were great. Renardo wanted one for his house.
Sad that Renardo kill her.
Soon he'd confront the Emperor. Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. And now it was coming for him. There was some sort of lesson there, wasn't there?
But this is the end. Well, there's nothing to bet.
He was
This is the-
exhausted. Could barely think. He wanted to stop thinking. The rebels were already finished, and he was the last. The Ravens were coming for him personally now, in waves. It didn't matter. He was slick with his own blood, but it didn't matter. In the distance, he could see her, embraced by a halo of light, holding her hand out to him. Had she forgiven him? Would she take him to the halls of the Valiant? Then he felt steel in his belly, and his chest, and his back. And he lay down, and he couldn't see her anymore. And he hadn't learned anything new this time. He'd done the same thing twice, yet expected a different outcome.
Alright. So, this is pretty much it for today.
Coming in, yeah, flex. I just wanna win, yeah. LABB, who we running with?